If you're getting annoyed about the slow growth of your Google business profile, then it's probably down to one thing. The fact is, with so many things to manage today as a business owner, you can easily lose the purpose, and you could be the main reason why you're not growing. So to help identify this one thing, I bought a new camera recently, and it's going to help us understand what that one thing is. You see, I learned the brilliance of focusing, the importance of making sure that one subject was being focused at one time. And so you can focus from this to this. But as you can see, you can only focus on one thing. And that's the lesson that I'm going to look at today, is what are the things that you need to focus on? And bearing in mind, you can only focus on one thing at a time. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to focus on one thing at a time, where to focus for immediate improvements on your Google business profile that will hopefully get you to number one over time, and also the mistakes and the things that you shouldn't focus on. Of course, by putting your focus on more than one thing, apart from going cross-eyed, you'll be ineffective in the progress you make. And you know, many of these mistakes I made myself, which is why I put this video together to help warn you, and so you don't have to make the same mistakes that I made. So the first thing is to focus on customers. And the mistake, well, most people just blame Google as if it's Google's algorithm's fault as to why they're not ranking on local maps, on local SEO. But ultimately, it's because you haven't got the focus on your customers, and your customers are in effect letting the algorithm know they're not finding your business particularly helpful. So what does it mean to focus on customers? Well, it means to put yourself in the customer's shoes, see it from their perspective. In fact, put them ahead of the business. And what does this then do? It engages with your customer. Your customers feel that you're really interested in them and that you're the business to turn to. And so they give signals by their visits to the website, by their visits to your Google business profile, and by how they interact with you. All those things will let Google know that you're a business that really does focus on customers. And that's what Google wants. And the reason Google wants it is because that's what your customers want too. So how do you go about that? Well, think of the last time you were a customer. Think of when you were trying to buy something recently. What were you looking for? How did you feel when you found the business that solved your problems? Think of it from their perspective. It's not unique what they're experiencing. And as soon as you get those things right, that is probably one of the most important parts of focusing on your business that you can do, is putting the focus on the customer. And so the next thing to focus on would be to focus on quality. And the mistake here is often people focus on the quantity rather than quality. So when you think from your website's point of view, or if you've got a Google business profile point of view, are you thinking, let's put loads of photos out there, let's get loads of testimonials, let's just blast everything on the website, let's just put keyword after keyword, let's put the cities that are local, the cities that are further adrift. The point is you could do all those things and you may get some response, but it doesn't put a quality there. And often when people read the blog, when people look at your website, when they look at the quality of the photographs, that in itself is where the focus should have been. So don't just focus on keywords when you're doing optimization, but focus on the intent of what the customer might be looking for. And of course, if you want to know what's producing the best reaction to your customers, then it's good to look on your insights, and there it gives you your top 5 keywords being used. So just think what's behind the reason why those keywords were found on your business, and how could you improve that, but with a quality rather than quantity. And then you can create a value for your audience, and you can give them something even better than what they thought they were looking for. Now, next focus is to focus on your CTA. That's your call to action. And often the mistake here is that business owners don't really know what they want their customers to do when they actually land on their landing pages. So if there's no call to action, then if you don't know what you want them to do, how can your customers know what to do? So is there a button that takes them through to a payment page? Are they able to shop and efficiently then pay you for the products they want? When was the last time you went on as a customer to see how efficient the process is to purchase your main products? If you've got products that aren't selling, it could be that no one can actually get to them because no one's actually tested out to see whether that product is actually for sale. It could just be that it's there isolated on your website somewhere and no one can get access to it. Often with e-commerce sites, things change, plugins change, there's updates, and things do get broken from time to time. Whether you're using Shopify, using Wix, WooCommerce, all these tend to have updates, and sometimes you might just find it clashes with another plugin. So just check from time to time, do you know what the actions are? do they actually work for your customer? The next area to focus on is trust. Focusing on trust is so important. And the nice thing with trust is it comes over time, which means then that genuine businesses tend to build trust. Whereas those businesses that come along, they take over, well, they come and go within 5 minutes, but the one thing they can't build is trust. And customer trust comes from the focus on the customer that we mentioned earlier. So this is where building up testimonials, whether it's video testimonials or maybe reviews on Google, building it up over time builds trust. Responding to your questions from your customers builds trust. Fixing issues that they raise builds trust. And trust is built like building blocks. It takes time, but as you build one thing on top of the other, particularly when it comes to your brand itself, time is the way you build trust. Now the next focus is also related very closely to that, but it's adaptation. Focus on being able to adapt. And that's the mistake that some business owners make, is they never prepare to change. If you were back in the 80s, before the internet came along really, and you weren't going to change when the internet came along, do you think your business is still going to be around today? Well, there might be the odd one or two, but in general, most businesses have had to adapt. They've had to consider having websites and domain names. They've had to consider having online sales and online marketing, which is why today Google Business Profiles are so important for your business. And you can be found by the customers that you're looking for. And that's where feedback from customers, having perhaps forms for them to fill out, that should be part of your strategy. Get them to fill out a form that surveys as to how they found it when they visited your business last, and then make adaptations based on that. So those are several things that you need to focus on one at a time. But you know, there's something else you need to focus on, and that's not making the same mistakes that everyone else is making. So if you want to avoid making those mistakes, then you need to watch this video now, and it'll be the mistakes that everyone else is making, but you won't make them after watching this video. I'll see you there.